Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to take you on a journey today. We are going to look at something that is essentially an ancient piece of spiritual technology. It's a system designed over a millennium ago, meticulously preserved and engineered for one very specific purpose: clearing out our heaviest mental and spiritual baggage. It's a text that has guided countless individuals through the process of acknowledging their faults and wiping the slate completely clean. So get comfortable, focus in, and let's explore how the ancients handled the weight of the world.
Have you ever wished for a magic button to completely erase your past mistakes? Because, let's be honest, we all carry things we aren't proud of. Words we shouldn't have said, actions we totally regret, a lingering sense of guilt. In our modern world, we might turn to therapy, journaling, or just try to distract ourselves to deal with that weight. But centuries ago, people desired that exact same clean slate, and they developed a highly structured, rigorous practice to achieve it. Today, we're unpacking the historical answer to that universal human desire.
Okay, let's dive into this. What we are looking at here is the title page for the Sutra of the 35 Buddha's names for confession and repentance, exactly as it's preserved today in the CB digital archive. This specific translation was crafted way back during the Tang Dynasty by a renowned master named Amoghavajra. We're talking about a document that is over 1,200 years old, carrying the immense weight of history and devotion. This isn't just a book, it's a meticulously preserved manual for spiritual purification that's been passed down through generations. And it's going to be our guide for today's explainer.
Moving right into Section 1, Seeking the Path to Liberation.
So before we get into the actual mechanics of how this confession works, we really need to understand where it comes from. The roots of this text stretch all the way back to ancient India, derived from the Upāli Sūtra. In the Mahayana tradition, this wasn't just a casual reading assignment, right? It was a foundational, highly active practice. The goal was absolutely nothing short of total liberation. The practitioners believed that to reach the highest spiritual states, to truly achieve supreme wisdom, you first had to remove the massive roadblocks in your way. And those roadblocks, well, they are exactly what the text refers to as heavy karmic obstacles.
Which brings us to Section 2, Confronting Beginningless Karmic Obstacles.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the text's brilliant, penetrating psychological breakdown of accountability. According to the sutra, our karmic obstacles have been accumulating for a beginningless amount of time, across this life and countless others. But listen to how they define a transgression. It's not just step 1, doing the bad deed yourself. It's also step 2, asking or teaching someone else to do it. And perhaps most profoundly, it's step 3, simply rejoicing when others commit the act. The text leaves absolutely no loopholes. It forces a complete and total accounting of our moral complicity, showing us that guilt and karma aren't just about our direct physical actions, but also our inner intentions and our quiet approvals.
And guys, the stakes for these transgressions are unimaginably high. As laid out here, the text lists incredibly severe transgressions: stealing property belonging to the Buddhas or the Sangha, committing the 5 heinous crimes, or engaging in the 10 unwholesome acts. And mapped right alongside them are the stark consequences of this accumulated karmic debt. The text connects these actions directly to terrifying existential outcomes: rebirth in hell, in the animal realm, as a hungry ghost, in the borderlands, or being born human but lacking faculties or harboring wrong views. It paints a very rigid universe of cause and effect. If these obstacles obscure your body and mind, your trajectory is set straight towards suffering.
All right, on to Section 3, Sincere Confession Before the Buddhas.
So with such a terrifying diagnosis of our spiritual condition, what on earth is the cure? How do we escape this cycle? Well, the text provides a breathtaking solution. You don't just confess into the void. You invoke 35 specific, incredibly powerful Buddhas across all universes to act as witnesses. You call upon Shakyamuni Buddha, Vajra, Indestructible, Dragon Sovereign King, Water King, Valiant Giving Buddha, and 30 others. The sheer pacing and scale of this invocation are genuinely awe-inspiring. By calling these names, the practitioner summons an overwhelming presence of pure, awakened beings, those who have completely realized the truth, to stand witness to their repentance.
But here's the crucial point. It's all about how you conduct this confession in front of these witnesses. Sincere confession is defined here as the act of completely revealing all karmic obstacles without concealment, to restore one's moral discipline to its original pure state. You literally cannot hide a single thing. These Buddhas are described as possessing all-knowing wisdom, 5 types of spiritual eyes, and the absolute ability to see and weigh everything. You are standing before the ultimate truth. By bowing your head in reverence and laying every misdeed out in the open, every thought,
every action, every single time you secretly rejoiced in someone else's mistake, you effectively neutralize the poison. You completely reset your moral compass.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Dedicating Drops of Virtue.
And this brilliantly illustrates the profound compassion inherent in this ancient system, because the text doesn't just wipe the slate clean and leave you at zero. Once the negative karma is cleared, it shifts focus entirely to the positive. After detailing the heaviest, most terrifying sins, the text pivots to the absolute smallest acts of goodness. It counts everything. Even giving a mere scrap or a single morsel of food to an animal in the animal realm is recorded as a source of merit. Holding just one pure precept, practicing pure conduct, or cultivating even a tiny fraction of supreme wisdom, it all deeply matters. The text validates these tiny, microscopic good deeds, assuring the practitioner that no act of kindness is ever wasted.
So, what do you actually do with these tiny drops of virtue? This is where the text introduces the profound concept of dedication. Dedication means pooling together every single tiny good deed, calculating them, gathering them up, and actively redirecting them toward the highest possible goal, supreme enlightenment. It's almost like ancient spiritual networking. Instead of a post going viral for digital attention, you're taking every everyday act of goodness and combining it into this massive, universe-spanning, energetic wave. Just as all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future dedicate their boundless merit, the practitioner is taught to take their gathered goodness, no matter how small, and aim it directly at ultimate spiritual awakening.
This brings us to a deeply poetic and honestly emotional climax in the text. It reads, "I confess all sins, rejoice in all merit, and entreat all Buddhas, wishing to realize supreme wisdom. To the unmeasurable ocean of merit of the past, future, and present, I now bow my head in reverence." It's just a beautiful summation of the entire journey. From the crushing guilt of beginningless transgressions, to the intense vulnerability of total honesty, and finally to the joyful gathering of merit. It offers a profound moment to breathe, reflecting a perfect, complete reset of the human spirit.
Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds into our reality today, from ancient India to the digital age.
This contrast we're looking at is absolutely fascinating. Back in ancient India, Mahayana practitioners performed this extensive physical and vocal confession 6 times a day, without fail. It was treated as an absolute necessity to clear their heavy karma. But then, look at our modern era. This exact same text is preserved today by the Comprehensive Buddhist Electronic Text Archive, or CBTA. They are using Unicode 3.0 standards, digital proofs, and modern databases to ensure this text has global access. The sheer physical devotion of the ancient monks has been beautifully mirrored by the meticulous, rigorous, technological devotion of modern archivists.
And this is what that modern devotion looks like in practice today, through the CBTA Foundation. Just think about how incredible this is for a second. A manual for clearing existential guilt, translated 1,200 years ago during the Tang Dynasty, which itself was based on an even older Indian text, is now instantly accessible to anyone, anywhere on the planet. Through a simple scan of a QR code or a quick web search, you can immediately connect to the 35 Buddhas. The medium has completely transformed, jumping from palm leaves to paper scrolls to pixels, but the ultimate goal of offering a clean slate remains exactly the same.
And you know, the modern preservers of this text understand its core message perfectly. The CBTA Foundation actually uses a beautiful quote in their call for support. Though water drops are tiny, they gradually fill a large vessel. It beautifully echoes the sutra's lesson about those tiny drops of virtue, like feeding a scrap to an animal. CBTA uses this concept to ask for small, collective donations to fund their nonprofit work in digitizing these massive archives. It shows us in real time how small, collective, positive actions could still pool together to achieve absolutely massive, world-changing results.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. In an age where literally every mistake, every poorly worded comment, and every misstep is permanently recorded digitally, never truly forgotten by the internet, how do we process and clear our own modern karmic debts? The 35 Buddhas offered an ancient path of radical accountability and total honesty to achieve a clean slate. As we navigate our own highly scrutinized world today, perhaps there's still something profoundly liberating to be learned from bowing our heads, owning our actions completely without concealment, and dedicating ourselves to gathering whatever small drops of virtue we can find. Something to think about. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible text with me today.